All right, so while last week went really well, finishing 3-1 and getting some awesome prizing that you guys got to see, which was pretty fantastic, which we've already gone ahead and added to the binder. Maybe we'll get some decent trades here. I don't know. I hope so, because, man, it's lacking. But that is okay, because while that deck did do really well, and it felt pretty solid overall, I think there are a couple of changes I could make. And actually, I'm going to take some inspiration from Master Duel and my Duelist Cup build, and use that for the skeleton of my deck for today. So it's going to be almost a pure, I would say it's really just a pure Blue Eyes deck with like a ton of defensive cards and playing really low to the ground, and we're going to see how that does. But before that, obviously, I have to do my pickups, and there's only a few this week because I think I'm going to try to save a good chunk of my money for next week and try to pick up some other really powerful cards. Maybe I can get lucky and get some copies of Metal Tronus. Maybe I can get a copy or two of Triple Tactics Talent. Who knows? We'll have to see, but let's just jump right on in. So if you're not aware of where we are at after last week, we had $16.78 to spend. I spent $12.11, leaving me with $4.67 remaining. Add that on to the $15 for this week, we had $19.67, and of that, I spent a whopping $2.50. That is going to leave me with $17.17 for next week, which will give me a total of $32.17 to really help upgrade this deck. I'm not quite sure what we're going to spend all of that on yet, but I just want to let you know where we are at. But let's get into what the upgrades for this week are. First, we have 3 copies of Xyz Encore. This is an incredibly powerful card and is going to be really good in our deck. One of the problems I've noticed that Blue Eyes can have is, funnily enough, is answering Baguska, the Terribly Tired Taper. This will help do that. And the reason why I say that you can have problems with that despite having cards like Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres in your deck is that eventually you just run out of the ways to get to that card, or maybe you just run out of copies itself. So I wanted to pick up a set of these. These were only 10 cents, or I think I got the whole set for 25 or for 50 cents. So that was a pretty solid deal there, which is going to be a great addition to have just in general. It also can really throw off the ability of the Ryziel deck to get to continue to extend, because you do just leave them with non-level 4s, which can be really problematic for X Ryziel. And then the last card I picked up is an Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. Now this is going to help with the Albaz engine that I had picked up before. And the cool thing is that the Albion can actually lead to floodgating out a deck like Malice even, because I can summon I can summon the Lubellion using their copy of any Malice monster plus my Albaz, and then I can fusion summon with the Albaz in my graveyard at any level 1 light spellcaster to make Albion, and then you use Albion to summon Spirit with Eyes of Blue to their field, and now they're dragon locked, and unfortunately they don't play like any cards that could do anything with that. So as long as I can just buy myself a turn, that might be something to consider. I'm not sure if we're going to put that in our deck next week, because this week I think I'm going to pretty much just take the same deck. We're just going to change some of the non-engine, but it is something that is worth noting, and I really liked a lot. Shoutouts to Ziggy for that one, by the way. So to show you guys the deck that we have, I'm going to go over what's staying the same and what's changing in the main deck. The side deck obviously is going to probably be pretty different depending on what we're doing here, but there's not too many changes because looking over the deck, I actually basically played pure Blue Eyes last week with board breakers, but this time we're just going to do with some more powerful board breakers, I think. So what's staying the same is the 3 Sage, the 3 Maidens, the 2 Neo Kaiser Seahorse. This card is overperformed. 3 Wishes for Eyes of Blue, the 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. This card is an incredible card, and during the Duelist Cup actually was one of the MVP cards of the entire weekend for me. Getting to play this and just stop board breakers like Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster was huge, and it gets even better in real life because of the Ryziel cards. And then of course you have Mausoleum, Roar, Majesty, True Light, and Pot of Prosperity. That's it for the engine. All of that stays the same. I don't think we're going to be adding too much. One card I am considering adding actually is Master with Eyes of Blue, because that card creates some really interesting dynamics with Joel and Lockbird, letting you continue to play in a really cool way that you couldn't do if you didn't have it. Then I have 3 Ash Blossom of Joyous Spring, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Joel and Lockbirds, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and Call by the Grave. And that's actually all staying the same. From there, though, the cards we're dropping are the 2 Nibiru the Primal Beings, Bestial Baldrake, Bestial Magnamut, the 3 Book of Eclipse, and the Seal of Drain. So while all these cards did perform exceptionally well, I think I want to drop them for other utility cards and see if maybe we can eke out some wins with that. So we have that for us here. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our collection here that we've managed to amass so far. If you haven't actually seen it yet, this is the Budget Builder box. I keep everything for this in its own separate little collection here. Trying to stay honest. So let's take a look at what we've got here. What are some cards I definitely want to include? Well, right off the bat, I want the Solemn Strikes back in the deck. These cards definitely were really good. Let's see, going over the main deck stuff. I think this is all Blue Eyes right here, so none of this needs to go in. Actually, no, that's not true. Master with Eyes of Blue. That was a card I wanted to put in the deck. So we'll set one aside just in case. That one may not necessarily make it into the deck. It is better in the Duelist Cup than it is in real life because of stuff like the Bestials being so popular, but it is something to pull aside regardless. Then let's see. I should have probably picked up Mischief of the Gnomes for this deck. That might be a card to consider. Looking over the rest of my collection here. We've got the Allvaz engine, which I guess we'll pull this aside just in case. Maybe that would be considered. Got some more hand traps. Ghost Ogre could be considered because I know we do play in a couple mirror matches. Chaos Hunter definitely needs to be considered for the side deck. Ultimate Fusion was a big one. Alright. So let's see. Definitely gonna drop all of these. I'm trying to remember how many cards we had here. 8. So it's actually a 40 card deck, so we need to replace all 8 of these. And how many cards do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe we don't drop quite everything. Maybe we just keep in the Nibirus and stuff like that. I really like the Skill Drain though. So let's see. This is where it gets a little tough. Let's take a look at the side deck. Is there anything in here we would want to maybe main deck? Oh, Ultimate Slayer I think I'd actually want to main deck as a board breaker. That makes things a little bit easier. So we actually have 7, and then there's 8. So the last card could just be Magnamut. So that way I have access to that powerful search. So let's go ahead and take these out. And just in case you were wondering what I'm doing here, so I actually always double sleeve my cards. This is just to prevent them from getting too much wear and tear. I use Perfect Fit inner sleeves and then a variety of brands for outer sleeves. So if you're ever wondering what those are, what I'm doing here, that's actually just double sleeving my cards. And if you ever want to pick up any of the cards found in these videos, or you want to pick up just the sealed products to start your own Budget Builder series, go ahead and use the affiliate link down in the description below. A portion of that does go back to me, so you're actually helping me to fund this series while you're helping yourselves out, which is pretty cool. And also make sure to check out duelingguard.com for pre-sales on the Maiden collection, which is actually going to be a awesome product for the Blue Eyes White Dragon community yourselves. Looking over our side deck really quick here, we have the Phantasmes, the Lancias, these, and these. We just need 3 more cards. Well, that's a pretty easy addition right there. So it's going to be the 3 Chaos Hunters, giving me 9 cards in against the very powerful Malice deck. You know, these Nibirus and Bestials keep finding their way in and out of the deck. It's pretty entertaining, actually. But that is kind of how the process works, is we're just kind of rotating cards in and out. I really want to try Master and even maybe Albaz. So we're gonna see if maybe the extra deck can support Albaz. I might just throw the 1 copy in and go above 40. And if I can, I'm definitely gonna play Master as well. So that is all done. As always, we're gonna do a recap on the deck afterwards. This is just the deck building portion for those of you who are interested in seeing this sort of stuff. So we got those. I have all these and all of these. So one thing that is definitely something I want to change. I want to play 3 spirits. I found that the 3rd one does come up quite a bit, just as like the throwaway body. So that's definitely something I want to add in. Indigo Eyes actually really overperformed, so I'm very proud of that. We're definitely going to take out the Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. I have not found myself something that, so that can come out for the 3rd spirit. And then let's see, we have to keep an aggregator, Typhon, Indigo. You know, I think we're just not gonna get to play the Albaz stuff this week. But I do really like the Master. I want to play Master. So we're just gonna go to 41. We're just gonna play a single copy of Master, see how it goes. This could be terrible or it could be amazing. Master with Eyes of Blue is actually a card I'm a really big fan of from days past. So it just also makes your grind game a little bit better. That's the changes there. Alright, I think this looks pretty solid. The reason why we're taking out the Black Rose Moonlight Dragon is honestly the games that it comes up in, you're probably already in a winning position if it's really successfully resolving. And the reason for the 3rd spirit is that way you can burn 2 on turn 0 with Seal, or burn 2 to summon Seal, and then you still have 1 on the following turn to do again as well. Let's just jump right into the deck profile though, and then we're going to get up to locals. Alright, just in case you didn't want to watch all that deck building nonsense, you want to get straight to the deck profile, here is the budget Blue Eyes deck that we are playing this week based off of my Duelist Cup deck list. We're just going to go ahead and go through this really quickly because there isn't too much to discuss, honestly. First up, you have your 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue, your 3 Maiden of White, 2 Neo Kaiser Seahorse, 3 Wishes for Eyes of Blue, 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon, 1 Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, 1 Mausoleum, 1 Roar of the Blue Eyed Dragons, 1 Majesty of the White Dragons, 1 Ultimate Fusion, and 1 True Light. None of that is changing, that is all staying the same, but one addition we're doing this week is actually adding a copy of Master with Eyes of Blue. Now the reason for that is specifically because of how powerful a card Duel Lockbird can be, and also the fact that this version, especially, I'm trying to play as low to the ground as possible. If I can ever just end on Spirit Dragon with some back row and passing, that's all I'm gonna do. Ending on Seal Spirit back row is the ideal, but it rarely happens, so we're not gonna really look to do that too often. But what Master does is it actually offers you avenues to win the game through your own copies of Duel Lockbird, their copies of Duel Lockbird, and it also means that recovering is far easier. If you're not familiar with Master with Eyes of Blue, it's a level 1 light spellcaster tuner, so it's searchable by the Sage with Eyes of Blue, and it says when it's normal summoned, you can target 1 level 1 light tuner in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Then it also says you can shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck, then target 1 effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard other than the sent monster. You can only use this effect of Master with Eyes of Blue once per turn. So what Master does is it offers a couple of things. 1, it's a level 1 light tuner that has attack points, which randomly does matter. Also, it lets you recycle copies of Jet Dragon, and it also lets you recycle copies of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which losing access to this can be really detrimental. So sometimes you'll get into a game state where you summon your Tyrant and then they've managed to out it. Well, then you can just simply use Master to bring back that Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon and continue to get a bunch of value that way. But what it also does is it means that if you open up with Sage and Maiden, it gives you another target besides Veiler to search with the Master, and that can actually be really good because if you have to deal with something like Duel Lockbird and you are expecting it, I can simply just go normal summon Sage, add Master. If they droll me, that's fine. I can do the Maiden, and then if I can get Master to the graveyard, then I have a follow-up. Or let's just say they let that go. I can normal summon the Master with my additional normal summon through the Mausoleum and add back the Sage with Eyes of Blue, giving me a follow-up on the next turn, which is something that I've noticed that can be a little bit of an issue with the usage of wishes and things like that. So that is going to be really good. It just also just punishes the opponent for not being aware that that card exists, and it is just randomly really good. Another card that we've added back into the arsenal is Ultimate Fusion, a card that I was a really big fan of and then dropped. So why am I playing Ultimate Fusion again? There's a couple reasons. One, it dodges Bestials, which is obviously going to be really good. It also gives you another card to set off of True Light. It gives you another card to search off of Wishes for Eyes of Blue. It is another interruption alongside Majesty of the White Dragons, and it gives you additional access to Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon at a quick effect speed, which is really beneficial. All of those things combined make Ultimate Fusion a really good card. Not only does it let you dodge Bestials, but when you're summoning cards off of Sage, when you're going to summon your copy of Spirit with Eyes of Blue, if you have a Blue Eyes in hand and you've already gotten access to Ultimate Fusion because you drew it or you searched it with Wishes for Eyes of Blue or something like that, and they go to Valor, Imperm, or anything like that on your Spirit, you can just actually just chain your Ultimate Fusion, return the Blue Eyes in the Spirit, and now the Spirit can resolve. Their Valor or Imperm is wasted. You're off to the races. Ultimate Fusion is also really good at letting you force out interaction from the opponent because it is a non-targeting destruction, which is something I'm a really big fan of. That's why I like Ultimate Fusion alongside Majesty. Mostly, though, it gives you another additional target to search for with Wishes for Eyes of Blue, because typically you'll activate one Wishes, you'll search one of these two, and then in the end phase, I found a lot of the times I want to set the other one with the True Light. Like, let's say I activate Wishes, I add this, I use this, and then in the end phase I can set with True Light. Well, now the problem there is that if I activate another Wishes, it's dead. But with the Ultimate Fusion deck, it gives me another chance to use Wishes for Eyes of Blue, which is just going to be a huge boon. From there, we have 1 Pot of Prosperity for the additional consistency. Nothing to really say about that. Then for the non-engine, we have 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Joel Mockbird, 3 Infinite Impermanence, 1 Bestial Magnamut. This is a card that in the deck building section I was talking about I'm not really too terribly fond of, and I think that still reigns largely true. But we're going to continue to play it because it offers additional consistency. It also means that Hieratic Seal can not only summon the Neo-Kaiser Seahorse, which is going to be really useful, or the Jet Dragon, which will be really useful, but it can always summon Magnamut, which can then add the Neo-Kaiser Seahorse or whatever I need for the follow-up as well. So we're looking really hard at just going for the following turn. Then I play Call by the Grave, 3 Ultimate Slayer in the main deck, and 3 Solemn Strike. So this is one of the big things that we're going to be looking at. In the Duelist Cup, when I played this deck, I main deck Solemn Judgment. That was for 10 Pi, and I didn't have access to Ultimate Slayer, so I had to play cards like Maxi and Ghost Ogre. But I think that Ultimate Slayer will help us to make going second into Malice as well as Ryziel significantly better. Obviously, against Ryziel, if I go second, I can send the copy of Mirror Logic Aggregator, and then that will negate the cross as well as get rid of the copy of Detonator, all that good stuff that we've already known. Really good. Solemn Strike, going second, doesn't seem like it'd be that good because it's a counter trap, but I can always just set it and then just be really patient and see if I can eke out a win that way. It does come up a lot where you are able to grind out games because, again, you're really playing low to the floor, but the thing is with this version of Blue Eyes is your floor is actually really high. You might not think it's a lot, but if you end your turn with a Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, a Solemn Strike, an Imperm, and then one of these two, or even just like any of these 4 combined, plus your Spirit Dragon, plus any hand traps, that's layers of interaction that your opponent is going to have to deal with, and that can be really difficult, especially if they're not used to having to do that, or they're not fully prepared for having to do that. And that's, I think, going to be our avenue to success. Then for the extra deck, we have 2 Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, 1 Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, the 1 Lightstorm Dragon, Mirror Logic Aggregator, Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon. This card is overperformed both in the Duelist Cup and in real life, and I might even actually end up playing it in the Primite version of the deck because this card is just so powerful. And then we have Starslayer Typhon, 3 copies of Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This is simply because so often on turn 0 you want to use 2 of these and then make a Hieratic Seal. But if you don't have the 3rd copy and you use both, then they're just gone. So we're gonna play 3 copies because you don't really need all that many links. It also just means that if I need to throw away a link monster with my Ultimate Slayer, I can throw away a Spirit and be totally fine because, of course, I do have that copy of Ultimate Fusion that I mentioned that will then let me recycle. The last League monster I play is 2 copies of Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. I kept mentioning in the deck building section that, you know, the second copy does come up, and I kept missing it in the Primate version, so we're going to try 2 copies in Pure and see if that works out. For the side deck, it is very much a Malice-hated side deck, because that is my worst matchup by far. So we have 3 Artifact Lancia, 3 Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, and then we've brought back the 3 Chaos Hunters. These have made their return. I figure between having these 9 cards in 41, I have a pretty solid chance of drawing into at least one of them. Hopefully. Lancia is obviously the best one, but Phantasme is going to be really good into the mirror match as well, because I can always draw off of their Link summons and then maybe get to some Droll Mockbirds, things like that. I have to see. And then Chaos Hunter is obviously going to be really good as well. And then I have Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Lightning Storms as well, and then 3 Solemn Judgments for when I go first. The idea being that in games 2 and 3, going first, I just turn this into a trap deck where I take out a bunch of the board breakers for the extra Solemn cards. Going second, I can take out the Solemn cards for board breakers and vice versa. Going second against Malice, for example, we're going to take out copy of, or the 3 copies of Droll. We'll probably take out an Effect Veiler. We're definitely going to take out the Magnamut. We are probably going to take out the Strikes. So let's see. We're going to take out these. We're going to take out Drolls. So right there is already 8 cards, and we're going to side into 9 at least. So let's see. We'll take out the Called by the Grave. So that's the 9. And then I'll probably take out the Ultimate Slayers, honestly, when I go second. And we're just going to side into these 12. So going second into Malice, the game plan is take out the 3 Slayers, the Call by the Grave, the 3 Drolls, 1 Effect Veiler, 1 Magnamut, and 3 Strikes for all of these. Seems like it's a pretty solid plan. Going second into Ryziel, I'm simply going to bring in the 3 board wipes there for... I don't know if I want to take out Call by the Grave, actually, because Call by the Grave does beat the Eclipse Twins, so maybe not. Going second into Ryziel. I'll probably actually just take out these 3, and we'll go for more of a board breaker approach. One of the things that I really want to mention, too, is if you are a new or returning player, don't be afraid to side out cards like Effect Veiler, a copy or 2, because it is so easily searchable through your Sage with Eyes of Blue. So even though it seems counterintuitive to take it out, by taking it out, I'm not really losing copies, because if I really want to see it, I have all of these to get there. And the reason why we're counting Maiden is because Maiden can get you to Wishes, which can get you to Sage, which can get you to Veiler. So you still have a way to get to your copies of Veiler should you need them. So going second into Ryziel, my deck is already basically built to beat it, so we just take out these 3. Going first into Ryziel, I just take out, let's see what we take out for the 3 Judgments. Definitely take out Magnamut. So where is that Magnamut? We're going to take out a Magnamut. I take out an Effect Veiler and probably the Call by Grave. So these are just going to get rotated out against the Ryziel matchup. Going first, and then going second, we rotate these 3 out for these. Against the mirror match, or the the Primate matchup in general, or the Primate Blue Eyes matchup, we're going to bring in these and these going second. And then we're going to take out... I think I'm going to take out Jet Dragon, Master, 1 Kaiser, Called by the Grave Veiler, and Magnamut. As much as Magnamut seems like it'd be really good in the mirror match, just having 1 copy doesn't really seem that great. And I'm not really looking to try to outgrind the Primate cards. I'm looking to end the game pretty quickly. So you got these 6 for these 6, going second. Going first into that matchup, we'll do these 6. So the 3 Judgments and the 3 Phantasmes for... for 3 Ultimate Slayers. I'm going to leave the Jet Dragon in just because board breakers are going to be brought in. We'll leave the Kaiser and we'll leave the Veiler. And we'll just do these 6. So that's going to be, I think, the game plan there. But we need to get... Oh, wait, hold on. We just messed that up. We need to get set for locals because it is starting soon. So let's get going.
Okay, so last night went pretty well. I ended up going 3-1. I was so tired when I got home, though, I didn't record the recap or the pack openings, but it wasn't particularly crazy. So I'm actually going to go over all the packs with you in just a moment, as well as the round-by-round breakdown. I ended up going 3-1. I got third place again, which is pretty solid considering that we played pure Blue Eyes with like solemn strikes and stuff. But let's just jump right on in.
All right, so really quick, we'll go through everything. There's just the 4 packs of Maze of the Master, as well as my OTS pack. I don't think there's anything too crazy in any of these packs. I got a Black Sheep token, so now we have a cool token. So that's cool. But looking at our rounds, round 1 I played against the Odeon deck. I ended up winning that one 2-1. And, oh, here, the Orange Light. It's a good card. Glad to be Sam Knight, good card. Game 1 I lost to all of the trap cards. I couldn't push through like his full setup because I just didn't have a yellow one. Didn't have enough to really get there, which is unfortunate. Game 2 though, I opened up Strike and Judgment alongside Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, so I managed to win that out. I ended up using Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon to loop. Or that was in game 3, sorry, with Tyrant Dragon I was looping my Solemn Strikes and things like that. So that was round 1. Round 2, I played against the Malice deck with Fiendsmith cards and hand traps. Honestly, I really wish I had recorded this. It would have been a really good match to showcase the strengths and weaknesses of that matchup. Let's see what happened. I lost game 1 to opening full combo, which was really, you know, that's gonna happen. Like, he opened up like the stones. Game 2, I ended up winning with Spirit Dragon, Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike, and then a Majesty. He just couldn't do anything. Like, he wasn't gonna be able to push through it. And then game 3, I drew Mausoleum, Blue Eyes, White Dragon, True Light, Imperm, Kaiser, and Lancia. The True Light was the draw for turn. And if it had been literally any other card, I was able to win because he opened up with the Fiendsmith line, and then as soon as he summoned Dormouse and activated its effect, I activated Imperm, and then he went into Haggard Lizardos to continue to push, and I chained Lancia, or I actually Lancia on the summon, locking him down. But unfortunately, I couldn't push through anything because I just didn't have like enough to push through like a single Imperm or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but it was very sad. Round 3 was against Shark Ryzeal. Lost game 1 to, you know, just like the full combo. Couldn't do anything. Game 2, I won with Droll plus my combo and then a Solemn Judgment. It's gonna be really solid. Game 3 was really intense though. I opened up Droll plus 2 Ultimate Slayers. And what I did was, I think I also opened like Imperm or something, but I ended up using Ultimate Slayer on the Detonator to put it back. And then I ended up just slowly grinding out with that True Light to get me to some resources. Managed to eke out the win there, so that was pretty good. And then round 4 was against another Shark Ryzeal deck, so that was pretty terrifying. I won game 1 with a full combo plus Joel and Strike. Can't really do much about that. Like, no matter what you're playing, if Blue Eyes opens up that well, it's pretty hard to win. Game 2, I lost to his full combo. Like, I just didn't open up any interaction and wasn't able to push through it. And then game 3, I ended up winning by using Tyrant to loop Judgment multiple times. I think I reset it like 2 or 3 times, so it was pretty solid overall. So I ended up winning 4 packs total, and then the OTS pack as well. And we did some trades. I traded a sequence for a simultaneous equation cannon just in case I ever play like a trap deck and I want to pivot into that. Pulled the White Lord out of my packs. And then I traded, so last week I had pulled that Masquerade. I traded the Masquerade, we never got a chance to finalize it, so we traded the Masquerade for 2 Super Rare Caius the Shadow Monarch, which is going to be really good because I know a couple of Edison decks are going to want this, so we'll have to see what we can get for the Caiuses. And I think these are like 4s each, and then the Equation Cannon is kind of whatever. But it was a pretty solid week overall for the budget builder. Let me know down below what you think we should add to the deck, because remember, next week I have $30 to add in some pretty nice stuff. So hopefully I can find some awesome cards. But until next time, have a good day.